Hey, it's me, Sai7. Welcome to part 17 of There Is No Light. This is going to be a special part where I read through all the Bestiary pages that we've covered through the game so far. If at any point I pause, it's because I'm getting a drink of water, clearing my throat, because this is going to be a lot of reading. I'm pretty excited to get into it, especially because in the achievements, only 0.6% of people have actually gotten all the Bestiary pages, at least on PC, so it should be pretty interesting. We've also got creepy background music to go along with it, and it definitely fits the portrait of this guy. So we'll start off with the Cannibals. Vile and wretched, many of the Cannibals were once ordinary people who lost their humanity in the tunnels. Now they exist only to satisfy a hunger that has no end. They're ready to betray their former friends just to weaken this damned attraction for only a second. Yeah, they look kind of crazed and psychotic, huh? You can see one pupil is looking up, the other one's dead center, and just such a creepy smile. We got Waters of Purification. Pilgrims from all over the underground come here to be purified from the sins of their past life and to appear before the Messiah. Many must endure difficult trials on the way to their goal, while others don't make it at all, being caught by cannibals or solar core patrols. The water in these places originates from the Lighthouse of Hope. Pilgrims believe that it contains the purifying blessing of the Messiah. However, if the owner of the lighthouse considers you unworthy, this water will be your end. Caves of Rebirth. Last stop of the Pilgrims on the way to the lighthouse. Once these caves were hidden from human eyes, but that doesn't mean they were empty. Here, you can still find the remains of the structures built by the angels, who erected what is now known as the Lighthouse of Hope. For the Day of Judgment, there was a temple through which the souls of the righteous dead from the city above the earth entered heaven. When the war began, the heavenly army left these places. They were overgrown with wild grass, until people discovered them again. This dude looks creepy. Lighthouse's Overseers. Invisible to the Pilgrims, these creatures maintain order and fulfill the will of the Messiah. The Overseers tirelessly supervise the Pilgrims, atoning for their sins so they can then be transferred to the Expanse, where peace and bliss await them. In truth, the Expanse is merely an illusion created by the Overseers for a purpose known to them alone. Yeah, so if you'll remember in the Lighthouse of Hope, there were a lot of panels where there are hidden panels, and some of them were broken, and anytime we'd go and kind of peer into the the backstage of the lighthouse, what was happening there, these guys often showed up. They were the ones that would grab you and choke you. Yeah, I remember, they were annoying. Now, the Messiah. The Messiah was once a simple cripple left for dead, but a chance meeting with an angel changed his fate. Now, he gathers the abandoned and useless to him, delivering them from torment. However, no one knows his true goals. Messiah looks like a holy deliverer from suffering. His soul is actually darker than the gloomy corridors of the underground. He's motivated not by a desire to help the poor, but by human egoism. Yeah, he did not seem like a good guy. The Lighthouse of Hope. Poor and hopeless pass legends of this place by word of mouth. Every pilgrim seeks to get here, expecting to receive eternal bliss. However, none of them is able to see with their own eyes the true appearance of the lighthouse. The Messiah will give them freedom from hardships, but everything has a price. Behind the blinding gates, there's only the illusions, as well as terrifying copies of paradise and hell, erected especially for them. Oh wow, look at that picture. Oh, looks really cool. Angel suppliers exist for one purpose: stealing human faith. However, you will never be able to see their true appearance, because in order to get to their goal, they disguise themselves pretending to be ordinary people. Humanity perceives angels as righteous defenders of good, but in reality, they are not far from their fellows in the ability to lie and manipulate those who are weaker than them. I don't really remember coming across these guys. Yeah, I don't recall these guys at all. They kind of look like pilgrims. I remember we saw a lot of pilgrims with like the glowing eyes and what kind of looked like halos, but I don't really recall where these guys came in. Huh. Expanse. After passing through the gates of the lighthouse, the pilgrims find themselves in a snow-white desert, devoid of pain and suffering, which stretches infinitely far. A true paradise on Earth. At least this is how the pilgrims see it, but maybe they're just blinded and don't see the true essence of the Messiah. Wait, so what exactly was this place? It says the Expanse is merely an illusion created by the Overseers for a purpose known to them alone. Yeah, actually, I have no idea. Maybe we'll get more information on that later. The depot. Once upon a time, crowds of people traveled through these tunnels in huge iron carts. They called it Subway. The ancients who lived on the surface tirelessly broke through more and more underground paths and built new carts. Now, their wisdom has been forgotten, and the reminder of their former greatness are the lifeless, dead windows of rusty carts, now stilled forever. Spiritina. Oh, and you can see like the mother right here in her little web. Not a little web, that was a giant web. An oasis of peace and joy among these cold tunnels of the underworld. It's not easy for a casual traveler to find Spiritina, but the mother's wards welcome each guest with open arms. Spiders frolic in their nests, while people who once lost all hope try to rebuild their lives. The mother of the spiders has created a place of true harmony that can no longer be found anywhere else. It's funny that it says it's true harmony, but the spiders take your face. Yeah, see, like this one, it has a face in its arms. Oh, it's so gross. I hate these things. These are just awful. So the spiders of Spiritina. These little cute creatures are they're not cute. They're not cute. I don't know why it calls them cute. These little cute creatures are not only concentrated in the territory of Spiritina, but scattered all over the tunnels of the underground. Their little cobweb nests can be found almost everywhere. While at first glance they may seem threatening, don't worry. They're driven only by boundless curiosity. Like human children, they strive to know everything about the world. They inherited this craving from their mother, the mistress of Spiritina. As befits a good mother, she worries about her children and can sense when they're in danger. You know, these things are terrifying. I don't like the concept of this at all. Somehow it's worse than just regular spiders. They just take your face. And I think it said that the process of them like taking a face doesn't hurt the person somehow. And the people that recount it, they only say like, oh, the spider was just looking at me. New Dawn. I had an opportunity to explore the ruins of New Dawn. Not gonna lie, the main reason for this was that the Dawn turned out to be my temporary prison. This place is filled with a red substance of enigmatic origin. I've never been able to figure out what it is, but for some unknown reason, looking upon it fills me with inexplicable horror and disgust. Ancient lore keepers once used the New Dawn to climb higher. Traces of their labors can be seen everywhere. Now, once enslaved demons wander lost in the devastated ruins. And just in case you're wondering, the perspective of all of these comes from the scholar, the demon scholar that we helped out. And he was stuck in New Dawn when we found him. Blood Brothers. Vicious hunters that are ready to kill any demon that crosses their path. Don't even try to conduct a civilized dialogue. True savages. All they need is demon blood. It seems that they're obsessed with an irresistible desire to destroy any inhuman creature that falls into their eyes, led by a certain call of blood. However, these savages didn't bother to explain what it means. Oh, look at that. And the drawings are so good. Like, this dude's tearing a demon's head off. And it looks like he's just relishing in it too. Sleeping Sentinels. Armor of the once living guardians of the Vault of Heaven revived under the influence of mystical forces. Like its masters, it serves only one purpose, to protect the source of wax. Not once did the abomination frighten me in the dark corridors of the Vault of Heaven, rising from oblivion. I just hope someone will eventually be able to lay this senseless iron to rest forever. Central Station. During my journeys, I've never been able to visit the place that people call the Central Station. The approaches to it are guarded, and I doubt that the guards would have greeted an alien creature, though driven only by boundless curiosity, with open arms. However, I've heard many stories about this place, its majestic bridges and buildings that can't be compared with these shacks from other stations. Humanity began to inhabit this place long before the church, under the leadership of a certain Eight. In the first years after the disaster, people took refuge here. They were afraid to go out into the dark tunnels. Now, the Central Station is the seat of the power of the church. It controls all the stations inhabited by people from there, and also conducts rituals of transferring some newborns to the Great Hand, but the purpose of the ritual is completely unknown to the people themselves. Sanctuary of the Great Hand. There is no place in the entire human world that is so richly decorated as the Sanctuary of the Great Hand at the Central Station. The golden vaults of the sanctuary go high, and inhabitants come there every day to pray. This place was built by ancient people who lived on the surface, and once filled a completely different role. However, no one remembers what this hall was originally built for. Archives of the First. A magnificent repository of endless knowledge, the main purpose of my journey. All the hardships and dangers of my path were worth being inside these walls. The ancient keepers of wisdom built this place to preserve their treasures for future generations. Fortunately, people are too busy surviving and don't care about finding the truth. Few of those who managed to get here lost their minds among the countless shelves with books and manuscripts. The Eight. A mysterious group of keepers of ancient knowledge who once walked among people. They died long ago, but the Church of the Great Hand tried to erase any mention of them. One can only imagine the danger they posed to the Hand, even after leaving this world. Among those rare records, you can find out that they were among those who opened the gates between the worlds. They didn't know what they would doom humanity to. Deceived, they thought that they could go to paradise, where the heavenly throne awaited them. Everyone who sits on it will gain infinite wisdom and power, but all this was a lie, and instead of the heaven, they opened the door to the kingdom of Lucifer. Yep, they were the demon summoners. New Nimbus. New Nimbus is the largest human settlement after the Central Station. However, the difference with the capital is visible to the naked eye. Life in Nimbus is much poorer, and people have to fight for existence every day. The unwary traveler will face many dangers in the corridors around the station. Therefore, locals rarely go outside Nimbus, preferring to remain under the guard's protection. The Restless. Restless bodies of people that are lost in the tunnels, controlled by unknown forces. Travelers who stumble upon them can say their goodbyes. These creatures often pretend to be dead until the very last moment when it's too late and the victim can no longer do anything. Many of these monsters once lived in nearby settlements, but the beckoning voice of the ancient Yggdrasil tree led them into ancient damp corridors, where the Restless transformed them into their own kind. It's unknown who was the first one to suffer this fate, but according to rare stories, the original Restless was turned by the ancient tree itself. The Solar Core Guards. I've never seen the Guardians in person. Trying to get close to them would be too dangerous. Clad in golden armor, these warriors carry the teachings of the Hand to the people, protecting them from the dangers of the underworld. They can also become the main danger if the church considers you undesirable. They're equally zealous capturing and executing citizens as they are protecting them. They have a reason for it. Some of them have superhuman strength too. The chosen recruits undergo a painful transformation process that turns them into indestructible soldiers of the Hand. No, the picture of this looks pretty cool though. I really like the shield. Lunar Order soldiers. In its early days, the Lunar Order was driven by the noble idea of seeking freedom and truth. However, the insane experiments carried out in the laboratories of the Order pulled out everything human that was once in their hearts. Now, they are consigned to oblivion and buried under an impassable sarcophagus and can never be released again. And if you'll remember, they were taking the black wax and they were replacing people's organs with it. And some people would be kind of like transformed into monsters essentially. And the people that survived, there's something about them. Like I think they had, sometimes they would get like mutated from it. Like I remember there's one guy that had an extra arm. But I mean, I guess he lived, so it's kind of cool. Mind of a Fool. A real nightmare. These former tunnels of the underground are entwined with the roots of the twisted tree of Yggdrasil. I don't think I'm saying that right. Anti-branches weave into amazing patterns, but if you relax for just a moment, this place will devour you. The Father. The fair and powerful leader of the Church of the Great Hand hides a wounded dark side inside. He was once brother of the Lunar Order creator, but any mention of it has been erased. To this day, the father blames his brother for their mother's death. But besides this, his chambers hide a bloody secret, known only to the closest ones. Like, he had that was where we found the newborn eyes. Abyss. An eerie place. The air here seems to be saturated with suffering, and the shadows don't seem to want to sit in their place. Once, this place had an utilitarian function. With the appearance of the Lunar Order here, everything has changed. The Order poisoned it with their madness. Lost people from all over the underground died terribly here. It seems that just simply standing here, you can go mad and begin to hear the pitiful cries and groans of the victims of horrible experiments. Perhaps this is a trick of imagination, but maybe their souls are still trapped here. Superbia. Driven by a desire to find a cure for death, the young healer from the Central Station and former leader of the Lunar Order lost his mind. Having merged with his creation, he is no longer aware of his actions, living out his days in confinement inside the sarcophagus. Don't recognize the once famous healer in him anymore. Now he's a mad, disfigured creature, the true embodiment of his arrogance. And it's kind of sad. So yeah, this is the Lunar Order brother, right? And I guess he just wanted to be a healer to, save his mom. and then her death caused him so much grief that this is what he became. Oh, that's cool. And we've got the Horde, a terrifyingly vile monster assembled from the victims of the Lunar Order's vicious experiments. Under the influence of wax, they merged into a single organism driven by one goal: to absorb all living things. The records of the Lunar Order tell that their leader experimented on human beings for a long time, attempting to find a cure for death. The lifeless results were thrown into the pit until at some point, ironically, they found new life in the form of a shapeless human mass held together by black wax. So this is the thing that was chasing us in the sewers before we got to New Moon. That's what this was? Dude, that is freaky. Man, that's insane. And this picture just looks really cool. I love it. Failed experiments. Poor souls, once ordinary people, subjected to the terrible experiments of the Lunar Order. Once they were someone's parents, friends, children, they have long forgotten their past life. Blood in their veins has become wax. All you can see in their eyes is infinite emptiness. Completely uncivilized, they will lash out at anyone they see, even if their target has no desire to harm them. When alone, they're insanely weak, but they almost never walk alone. They're kind of like zombies. Solar Core Barracks. Every society needs protectors. With followers of the Great Hand, the Solar Core became such protectors. Not every person is able to become a part of it, or only the Father has the right to accept a candidate into the ranks of the Core. Many are rejected, but a great honor awaits the worthy. Once a year, candidates are immersed in wax, while listening to the words of the Father, and emerge as real warriors of the Great Hand, ready to shed blood. No one knows what wax does to them exactly, but it is safe to say that it is not just a ritual convention. Some people say wax makes their body stronger, but what if there's something else? Well, as we know, wax makes people, like, subservient. So yeah, I guess that maybe that's a way for them to really give themselves to the Great Hand. Church's servants, keepers of sacred knowledge. Ordinary people turn to them when they are looking for answers to important life questions. Like me, ministers of the church carefully seek and preserve knowledge about the world. The only difference is that everything that doesn't fit into their picture of the world is mercilessly forbidden and consigned to oblivion. Behemoth. Once powerful creature, now it's just pathetic. During the great battle in the Vault of Heaven, the Behemoth was summoned to turn the tide, but instead it was forever shackled and crippled. Now, its only purpose is to watch the path to the vault until the end of time. Yeah, until we ended its time. The Frontier. Once underground, everyone at first dwelt in the same place. However, a lack of resources and the human drive for discovery pushed people to explore the tunnels. Thus, the Frontier was created. The inhabited territory is far from the central station. Life here is dangerous and full of hardships. The settlements are often attacked, but nothing seems to force people to leave their homes. Old Nimbus. Old Nimbus drown in sorrow. It hangs in the air. You inhale it along with the dust. People used to live here a long time ago. Now, those who are no longer useful to society are forcibly banished here. The crippled and elderly find their last home here before leaving for eternal oblivion. Wardens. It hurts to look at them. Once my own brethren, now turned into slaves. Their previous owners left them long ago. Lost and devastated, they roamed a new dawn, doing what their masters once forced them to do. They no longer remember why. but they know they must protect this place from outsiders at any price. Yeah, so these were the demons that were summoned by the 8. And they were the ones that were used to dig up to the source of wax before they eventually lost. Vault of Heaven. The Vault of Heaven is the site of the Great Battle. Once a group of people that stored great knowledge decided to free humanity from the control of higher forces, reaching the source of a substance known as wax. They almost managed to achieve their goal, but something went wrong. These people have long been dead, and the only thing that reminds of the battle is a rift in the surface created by a spell accessible only to the most powerful demons. Shedim, a powerful demon, tortured by many minds that has settled in his head as a result of a risky ritual. Shedim longs for peace, which he will never find. As I watched Shedim's agony, I felt sorry for him, but the sassy demon deserved his fate. His complacency has never been good for him, but Shedim never learned anything. It's weird, it's like all the demons know each other. Like even when Samedi, when he talks about them, yeah, like he mentions all these guys too. And yeah, he mentions like their personality traits and like quirks that they have. That's so weird. Pilgrims. These people have lost everything in their lives except hope. Led by the legends of the Lighthouse of Hope that will relieve them of pain and hardship, the Pilgrims are ready to embark on a dangerous journey and risk their lives for the chance of redemption. First of them once followed the Messiah, blinded by his blessed light. They surrendered their idol and couldn't take their eyes off him. Now, new generations of pilgrims are following in their footsteps. To help their fellows, they leave signs in chalk to guide them to the dazzling and healing light of the Lighthouse of Hope. Ooh, that's a cool scythe. I also like the butterflies too. Reapers. Wayward and chaotic servants of death. They rarely appear in their material self and always pursue their own goals. No matter how hard you try, you cannot deceive a Reaper, because death is always one step ahead. When I think of them, all I feel is hatred, but the guile of even the most cruel demon can't be compared with these minions of death. So Reapers are different from demons? Or maybe they are demons, but they work for death? I feel like you can kind of read into that a little bit. Maybe not. The Absolute. Absolute amazed me in a way that no other place in the underworld did. Unfortunately, the amazing city, ruled by an intelligent machine, has long been in ruins. In an attempt to create a new ideal form of life, the so-called God Machine signed its own death warrant. Despite the attempt of people to make their leader more human by connecting it with the consciousness of two people, Alpha and Omega, all attempts were in vain. Now, the empty corridors of the Absolute are inhabited only by unfinished forms of life, thirsting for complete their human part. Residents who survived left the city long ago and got lost among ordinary people, hoping to return home someday. Oh, that's all of them. Yeah, all 39. Yeah, I really like the extra lore and stuff. All this was really cool. I don't know why the Behemoth is a baby. I remember we saw like a statue of this too. And yeah, all the art, and the art is so good here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look for these angel suppliers. I don't remember these at all. Oops. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad I found all the Bestiary pages. Lots of good lore stuff there. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it adds a lot of extra context to the game. Also, all the like everything here is just so interesting. So yeah, it was a lot of fun to read. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll continue on exploring the Absolute in the next part. And I'll see you then. Peace.